Rev up your engine! Oh no, the check engine light came on in my wife's Lexus. 24 years old, so let's face the facts. Something's gonna break eventually. Now, in this case, I'm not gonna freak out because the car runs perfectly fine, but the check engine light's on. So, we'll plug our scan tool in here, and what does it say? PL446 EVAP solenoid valve control system. So what does that mean in layman's term? Well, your gasoline tank's full of gasoline. It vents gasoline vapors. Rather than vent them to the atmosphere, as it did when I was a young mechanic in the 60s, it's now collect the evap vapors and they either burn it back through the engine, or with the evap canister, they filter it with charcoal, and then no hydrocarbons go in the atmosphere. Well, this system has a problem. So, for my years of experience working on these things, a lot of it's under the hood, so that's where we're gonna start. So, we'll take off the stupid beauty cover, long Allen wrench to go in the hole. That's been on there a long time. We'll take those off. Then we'll pull the stupid beauty cover off so we can check the system out. Get these leaves out of here. This is some of the evap system. It's the one that often goes bad. It's the evap vent that allows the evap to burn the fumes instead of putting them in the atmosphere. It sucks in by the air filter and it burns them. Now this particular vent valve often goes bad, so we will unplug it. And you see it's got just two terminals inside here. As you can see, here's the new one. It's got two terminals. So what we're going to do is put positive and negative electricity, see if it clicks. It's an electronic solenoid, so it's supposed to click. So look up our test light system. Positive to positive. Negative to negative. Now we got power. 12.5 volts. So here's the new one we know is good. This is the ground, so we put the ground here. Then we put the power here on the other one and see if it clicks. And as you can see in here, you gotta be careful, there's not much working room inside these things. As we give it power, you can hear it click. Hear it? When it has no power, you can blow through, but when it has power, can't blow through, it shuts the valve. So we can hook this one up here, and when we click it, my machine's beeping, but the valve isn't clicking, so we know the valve's bad. For once, something easy to test. Now, for some reason, instead of putting bolts in to hold it on, they use screws. Well, luckily, I got a good tool set here that has everything. And it's got a little Phillips head screwdriver, fits in the socket. So rather than taking it all apart, I can reach in there and get it off. And I'm as lazy as the next man. So, we just have to line it up. I should be able to do it by hand now. So we take the two screws off. We can pull the valve out. Hoses are tricky. You got to kind of wiggle them. That baby's stuck in there. Well, it's been in there for 24 years, so I guess it's got every right to be stuck. Finally. As we can see, same valve. All the parts are the same. So you can just put it back in. This is an old car, it doesn't require any reprogram or anything. We just stick the one in, it was hard to get out. Hard to get in too. We squeeze the clamp back on. Push in its little hole. Now we'll put the screws back in. Be careful not to drop them, it's a long way down and you might lose it forever. Now it's started. We put a little wrench on, make it a lot easier. I don't know why they didn't put a bolt on it, but what can you do? Get them both on nice and snug so it doesn't pop out. Not much working room, but I don't want to take it all apart because I'm lazy. So don't forget to plug the connector back in or it'll trip the code again. Of course, now that's disappeared somewhere. There it is. Just goes in. Let's hope it's the right part and it snaps on. You heard it click? Now it's on. Now, like I said, you don't have to reprogram anything on this old car. It's just a simple switch and valve on or off. But we got to reset it. So the check engine light will go off. Sure, the key is turned on, but the engine not running, just so the idiot lights are on. Just erase codes, and soon they will be erased. We'll start her up. No more check engine light. Just the door light, because the door's open, and I don't have the seatbelt on, so the seatbelt light's flashing. Now, these valves often go bad with age. They do go bad. You can see what a simple fix it was. Any code reader would have read it, and any simple powered device that has power and ground can test them. Now sometimes they don't click that loud, so you do the other test I did is you blow through them and they blow through. Then when you give it power, it won't blow through. In this case, the thing's broke. It was just broken open all the time. It didn't close, so it would trip the code. And I did notice when the car had tripped, I did smell a little bit of gasoline when I walked around the car, because then it will vent gasoline vapors out, where it's not exactly a safe thing if you park it in a garage or in a parking garage where people might be smoking, throwing cigarettes down, woof. So if you do smell it and get that code, what an easy fix it was. You have to say, I really like this toolkit because everything has its little place. You're going to lose these things, right? Not if you make sure every time you close it, everything's full, and then do like I did. I painted the top, because if you turn it upside down and open it the wrong way, everything falls out. Now, I bought this on Amazon. Unfortunately, they didn't even put a name on it. So let's go to Amazon where I bought it so I can show you what it is. Please, people, why don't you put your name on your own tools, you know? They call it Castleman. Why they didn't put that on the case is beyond me. The name isn't there, but as you can see, it's only $26.97, has all those tools, and you don't lose them. So we'll put the stupid beauty cover back on. So I guess 24 years for a part, that's not too bad. And considering that I was smelling gasoline, it was venting when it wasn't supposed to. I bought this thing at an O'Reilly's. I think it was like $40. Didn't cost much. They had one in stock. You can see, you can fix a lot of stuff yourself using a little brain power. A simple scan tool. Any scan tool would have read this one. It's such a simple code. You could buy a $20 scan tool that would have read this. If you're really cheap, you don't want to buy one of these voltage testers, you could just get alligator clips in a wire, put one on a positive terminal, one on the negative, test them that way to see if they click. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on super expensive tools. You just need the knowledge that I'm giving you here so you don't get ripped off by mechanics fixing stuff that anybody can do. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, here's a good reason not to buy an $81,000 Silverado and not to do these over-the-air updates of computer systems on your car. This guy had an $81,000 Silverado they bought, a loaded one with all the crap, right? And they did one of those over-the-air updates of the computer. But now it won't start. It would move, you can't crank it up, you can't start it, it has to have it towed back to the dealership. This is a Silverado High Country with a 6.6 liter turbo diesel V8 engine, which is supposed to have 470 horsepower, but now it has none. I tell people, don't buy them anyways. They're not made that well, they're overpriced. But the big thing is, if you start messing with the computer system of a car, many things can go wrong, right? I have computer systems that reprogram vehicle computers. Today, if your computer goes bad in the car, you gotta buy a new one, and then you gotta pay a guy like me to reprogram it with a fancy computer and a subscription, in this case, the GM software system, so you can put it in. But it's a very involved process, too. You gotta do it right. I have special battery chargers that put out the 12 volts for the battery so that it has continuous smooth power supply. You can't just use a regular battery charger because it has voltage spikes, which can screw up the software as you put new software in and erase the old software. So it's a very complex process. It takes a lot of time. You got to have a very stable internet. I've got fiber optic cable, so it works fine, but a lot of people use wireless. A lot of times it won't work over wireless correctly. So it's a complicated thing. And if you do it at home, guess what? It's not going to work very well. And even if you go to the dealership, they just plug it in and leave it. They don't have a guy sitting there watching it because the mechanics are pushed to make as much money as they can for the dealership. So they don't want them checking everything out and road testing things. So you get all these problems. And there he's got an $81,000 vehicle that's a few months old and he can't drive it now. He has to have it towed back to the dealership. Learn this. Don't buy one of those. And don't get fooled that, oh, we got software updates, and he updated, and then the vehicle wouldn't start. Things are complicated enough as they are. They don't make them any more complicated by saying, well, we're going to fix it with an over-the-air update, because a lot of times they just don't work. Well, the rest is certainly jumping off the ship for Stellantis. They just got rid of their chief financial officer. A bunch of other people quit, right? Well, now, the master of them all, Carlos Tavares, their CEO, says he's going to retire in 2026. So it's almost the end of 2024. So give him another year. He says he's going to retire. I'm sure he'll get a golden parachute for destroying the company. Right? These guys get so much money, and when they leave, they get even more money. And then you wonder, gee, how come these Jeeps and Ram trucks cost so much money? Well, you got to pay these guys salaries, right? And pay for all the mistakes that they made. And then at the end, they leave, and everyone shakes their hand and says, what a great job you did. We're becoming a world of just insanity where these people destroy companies, but they make money for themselves. And then they say, well, I'm going to quit next year. I kind of had it with this crap, you know. He's going to leave in a year or so, he says now. The heat's even getting to him. Oh, Carlos's total compensation for 2023 was $39.5 million. He's getting all this money destroying a company. by Chrysler, and then just run it into the ground. Not that it wasn't running into the ground anyways, but he hastens to make it go, instead of like this, it's going like this now. And then he just says goodbye, takes his millions, and who knows, wherever he is, maybe he's on the Riviera, floating on a boat, you know, having a martini and thinking, oh, well, it was good for me. Who cares if the company goes down a toilet? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.